Okay, so we're going to try and wrap up very quickly, or as quickly as we possibly can. So, if you guys know what the Dragon's Den is, this is our version of the Dragon's Den. We've got a few contestants who've got actual projects that they're going to be showcasing today for our, if I may please ask the judges, Deborah and Pascaline, to please come and domicile themselves here in front. The other judge has sort of, we call it in South Africa, launched us, so she won't be able to join us. It was supposed to be Palisa Ryan, but she's going to be domiciled elsewhere and not here. Okay, cool. So we've got, excuse me, we've got about 5 projects that we're going to be talking to today. Our judges are going to, as they speak and present, judge and give some feedback right at the end. And then we will go and deliberate as the judging committee, so just for audit purposes. The judging committee will go and deliberate and decide on the winner on a set criteria. These are investment professionals, so they know what is bankable and what is not. And so then we'll come back and announce the winners. The first project, for the sake of time, what I won't do is introduce an extended bio of the project. I do apologize for that. It is not decorum, but I'm mindful of time and the extended day. Yes, Chris, yeah.
You need the bell. There's a time limit, right?
Yes, there absolutely is. You can bring the bell. It will give me unmerited power, and I will use it. Yes, please bring it. I once taught, and funny enough, my name Fundo means education, and the one thing that I enjoyed was ringing the bell, so it's going to be very nostalgic. All right, and so I was apologizing to there are 2 profiles that we're going to do online, which is pre-recorded. So the time there is going to be managed. May I ask our contestants in the room to please try and congest their presentations as much as possible and match it to 5 minutes, please, so that we can also wrap up. Okay. Up front, I'm South African, and more specifically, I'm Zulu. So my ability to read other languages is extremely limited. I now excuse every Afrikaans person who's ever pronounced my name incorrectly. I now understand. So I do apologize up front if I do mispronounce certain names. But our first, and if the guys at the back can just help me put it up, is Living and Living Better for Underprivileged in Boassa in Burkina Faso, and that is presented by Soyabo Tiamori. I know I pronounced that incorrectly. I was trying to, but I didn't get it right. Can we get that sorted? I will also ring the bell for the online guys.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just turn them off. Flick the switch.
It's easier. Mr. DJ, hit it. Just testing whether it works. Okay, it does. The idea of a Sharkroom is an elevator pitch. The idea is that you come in, you do your intro, you tell us about your project, you give us your ask. You have to get to your ask as quickly as possible, spend a lot of time on your ask, because the investment committee is sitting here waiting to understand what is the ask and why should they invest in your project. But I'm not the investment professional. The investment professionals will help us delve into those kind of metrics that they look for. So moving right along, and once again, folks, at 5 minutes, I will stop the clock, whether you are at the intro or just about to land your point. Okay. And the second one is the Dodoma clay brick and tile project in Tanzania, presented by Professor Jaffet. And he's here in person.
Oh, okay. No.
You and I are of
Yeah,
the same
probably.
stature.
So it's okay. It's all right. Yeah. Well, I'll try not to be caught with the bell. Okay. I'm here to present a project which is ongoing and was conceived since 2016. And our company, Build Africa Holdings, is based in Dodoma. And our project is focused on the production of building materials, but also building consultancies. Now, the project was conceived in order to fill a gap, actually, which exists in Tanzania, focusing on the 80% of the people who are in the informal sector, who are not and are excluded from the formal financial sector, which provide debt and loans and other services. We look at the situation as it is now. The demand for building material mainly is filled with the usage of cement, but only 20% is with the clay bricks, and the other 20% is for others. The current demand is about 600 million bricks per year, and what is produced is about 250 million. So we feel that we can fill this gap of 350 million bricks per year by providing the most affordable and the most available resource, which is prevalent all around the country. Now, we envisage to make different types of bricks, mostly using a new and available technology. And as it is now, even when cement is used, it is usually produced in the informal sector. Now, this creates a problem that there are no standards for these long-lasting housing. Next. I think I had before that. Anyway, the project milestones, if we started in 2016, looking forward, we have done several things. We've looked at what is there at present in terms of the market, that our aim to fill this gap is indeed needed and required. We have also done several MOUs with different off-takers, mostly government institutions, including Watumishi Housing, the National Housing Corporation, and also JKT Suma, who are involved in big projects in the country. Next, please. Setting the stage there, actually, what I wanted to say, by using a new technology, we can capture this informal sector of the 80% of the majority of the people who need affordable housing, but because of lack of funds and by being excluded from the formal financial sector, we can capitalize on the present available technology of mobile money, but also by using the present regulatory agencies like TRA, which is the Tanzanian Revenue Authority, to track the income, though it is not constant and sure, but at least it can be verified through these technologies. Next. Probably, I'll just say this is what we envisage to be a more affordable housing, and we are looking at the cost presently as we look at using a clay bricks. The cost will be around $6 million US, as compared to about twice as much or even more using cement. Next. So.
So, the contestants that are going to be coming thereafter should be taking learnings. I shall say no more. Okay. Our third contestant is ATP Studios Infrastructure Development Proposal from Senegal, and that will be presented by. This one is easy because the head of credit in my business is Artish Khan. From Senegal, and he is going to be virtual. Gents? This is why I don't like Atish. He takes away the fun of being the MC. No, I can't. I have to keep up. It's a principal matter. I don't like Atishas, even the one at work. No. I joke, very, very concise, to the point, within 5 minutes. That's the idea. That's the idea. Okay, cool. As we move along, I did say, folks, that I'm from FNB, which is a very efficient bank. Even when we decline you, we're very quick.
True story.
All right. So the fourth contestant is going to be an in-person contestant, a good brother of mine. This is not going to help him any much because I won't be a judge. Affordable key to real estate in Kenya, presented by Mao in person. Mao.
Clicker.
You need it. Just where's the clicker? What's the clicker, gents? What's the clicker? Clicker, please.
1, 2. Can I get like 10 seconds off every time I say next? Every time I say next. Next slide. Cool. Hi, I'm Mamu Kriya from Hodi, where we're unlocking the financial power of the home. Introducing the Affordable Key to Real Estate, or ACRE. An ACRE is a digital asset backed by real estate and government securities. It grows in value at an average of 20% per annum. A single acre costs 50 shillings. You can invest however much you have. The main value of the ACRE is it finances the development of green, affordable rental housing in urban areas, provides a secure, affordable, and liquid investment product that promotes financial inclusion, gives access to affordable credit, promotes economic growth and innovation, and is one of the best ways to save for a home. Earlier this year, we did a proof of concept where we released 65,000 acres into the market, and we got more than 94,000 bookings, with an average of 1,000 to 5,000 bookings per person, proving that people are interested in a secure and affordable investment product. We've identified a pipeline of more than 3,500 rental properties, new and existing, from pension funds like CPF Financial Group and GovCap, who are willing to tokenize their properties through HODI. We've also identified credit providers like Jiwambe, who gives credit to people who want to incrementally build their homes, and they are willing to take the acre as collateral to give credit. The HODI team is made up of me, Maumo Korea, a millennial who can't afford a mortgage, and Mr. Graham Reed, who has had more than 30 years experience in real estate. He founded the Johannesburg Development Agency, worked at Two Rivers, Tatu City, and is currently the CEO of Tilisi. We are seeking a 5 million guarantee to unlock our pipeline using a forward purchase agreement, as well as $1.5 million for 25% equity that will allow us to set up shop and get our acres listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange's unquoted securities platform. This will unlock about $14 million of revenue over the next 3 years. Invest in HODI, where everyone can afford an acre, and proudly say, Mimi ni landlord. Applause. Thank you.
Auditor, what time do you have on your side?
2 minutes.
Do you have 2 minutes? I've got 2 minutes 20. So your 2 minutes and my 20, we are going to exchange. Don't worry. We're going to exchange some, we're going to land on the right number. Don't know. All right, folks. And our last contestant, sure, okay, is developer able. Development package application from South Africa, presented by David Garner. Are we synced? Are we starting at the same time? Yeah? Yeah? Ready, steady, go.
My name is David Gardner. I'm representing Novo and the Developable Investment Opportunity, a PropTech application for small developers. While we're discussing the big issues, thousands of developers around the country are busy putting up developments irrespective of what's going on. There is, in Cape Town alone, a 10 billion rand industry, $500 million industry, with a growth of over 4,500 units per annum and a huge potential for small developers to do development right. Meet Sonti, Khosi, and Cameron. Sonti has a subsidized house. She wants to build 8 units in her backyard. She didn't know much about planning. 4 years later and $35,000, there she was with some pretty average backyard rooms built over that period. Khosi bought himself a 350 square meter site. He wanted to put 12 units on it at a cost of $120,000, but through 1.5 years and $30,000 of administrative costs and fees, he still has no approval to develop. Cameron has got bigger visions. He wants to put up 22 units on a 600 square meter site he's built. He wants to spend $315,000 on 22 units, but his rezoning was wrong. His building plans were terrible. The structural engineer signed them off anyway. The contractor told him it was too expensive, and in the end, his finances on hold. There's no approval. He has an empty site, and he is bankrupt. So what do we do about this, and who's at fault? The bottom line is everyone in the ecosystem is at fault. The developers, the financiers, the professional teams, the developer, and the intermediaries. So what do we do about it? Developable wants to create a technology-driven, process-guided, professional-facilitated development preparation application, which is going to put PropTech in the hands of those who need it most. The team that is developing it, luckily I've introduced to you anyway, they are well steeped in innovation, and they are guiding this process on the back of over 100 projects that have been developed and over 125,000 units. We've gone far. We've invested $150,000, and what we're looking for is $350,000 to gear Novo's investment in order to take this to market. We've gone through the whole development cycle. We have signed the technology development agreement, and we are now expecting to go live in February or March next year. But we do not have the operations capacity. So as an impact investor, Novo is open to equity investments or other types of financial contributions, as well as potential regional licensing as we roll the tech out. Developable looks at 12 key phases of development, 57 sequential steps, and 12 stage gates that if you do not go through, you are likely to fall over in some stage somewhere. And it packages that into a very easy framework for a professional to be guided through what needs to be done and to be told when information is not there. It is based on a range of prop tech, which we are very proud to have developed a lot of it ourselves, as well as linking to professional service providers in the environment to provide us with a lot of information that we do not need to collect ourselves. So we know it's a large market. There's a huge existing interest. My 10th application just came into my mailbox in the last hour. I have done no marketing whatsoever. Developable works because we've tested it. We have a proven prop tech partner in iBuild, who is going to host and develop the application for us, and this is a very modest investment for the very scalable returns, not only in terms of the app itself, but more importantly in terms of the environment. There are a whole range of proprietary functionalities, but what's really important is what happened to Khosi. There's the process that we went through. We went to his site at 12 midday on one day, and by 10 the next morning, 8 hours later, he had council submission drawings in his hand that he had signed off, ready to go. And that is because of the built-in modularity and typologies that we have developed and that we are then able to access after that. So please consider this application. We have all the documents that you will require available at your request. Thank you.
These guys are really taking away my power. They are not empowering me, Glenn. Well done, with about 10 seconds to spare. Okay. Folks, I think what we'll do now is that we'll go into a slight deliberation. But, so we're going to go into our dark corner and do some artsy-fartsy stuff there, and then come back. And we will deliberate, one, give some feedback from the investment committee on just the pros and cons of all the submissions that were made. And finally, then we'll announce the winners. But what I'd like to do whilst the investment committee caucuses is open up a few questions to the in-person contestants. I need my English right. It's like end of the day, my English bundles are running out. I did say I'm Zulu. So what we're going to do is that we're going to open it up for questions to the in-person contestants for any questions whilst my investment committee does come. Kersia, do you want to please help facilitate those questions, if any? If not, we'll play some music in the background. You guys can walk around a little bit, and so on. But I see Sita already wants to ask a question. Okay. Thanks, Jess.
Sorry, so for fairness, will the judges hear our questions? I don't know. But I have a question for Hody. I would like to understand better where how you are saying investors will get a 20% return. And then I have a comment almost for developable, that what was already in place, or how did you get your approval in a day? That in itself seems magic.
I'd like all of the to come and sit in these chairs, and then you can respond. Here is a mic for you.
So you buy the asset at 50 shillings. We estimate the underlying, the acre at 50 shillings, sorry. We estimate the value of the real estate will go up by about 2.5% per annum. you're getting a 6% yield, and now you have a 14% government bond. So that's how we estimate it. So it's a 2.5% asset appreciation, 6% yield, plus, oh, sorry. So the asset appreciates at an average of 2.5% per annum. You get a 6% yield on the rent, and you get about 14% from the government bond. So that's how you get about an average of 20% per annum at the value of the acre.
How the same money gets a return on the government bond and on the asset?
Okay, so the value of the acre is on three things: underlying asset, rental income, and interest from government bonds. So every month when the property generates rent, that rent is invested in bonds. So every month you're buying bonds. If you're looking at a property that generates at least 100,000 a month, you're constantly investing that money in bonds, and the interest from those bonds are being reinvested in other bonds. So this is tied to the value of the asset, to the acre, that allows it to grow in value. Yeah.
Done. Sita, in answer to your question, there's a lot of back-end hard work that goes into making that possible. Number one is having designed prototype typologies, which have been very, very carefully designed to be optimizable, and that is then put onto the site in terms of amassing in Revit, and then it is dragged digitally to add exactly the number of units and floors that you need. Those then seamlessly integrate in terms of the architectural modules that are put in. Those modules are broken down to the very highest detail in terms of elements and aspects of the elements and families of materials. Those are then able to be generated into an automated bill of quantities, which can then be costed as well once you have that configuration right. So it's the ability of being able to utilize the pre-design and then to customize that pre-design through parametric architecture that makes it, that is the most important reason. There are a number of other issues, of other considerations in terms of how one considers the site and the data that you have before you go to site, in terms of the digital cadastre and having checked all of the planning conditions and having a site layout, etc.
So for Mao, I understand the benefits from an off-taker, the demand side, but what's the benefit from a developer in signing up to your platform? What kind of risk associated, what kind of risk is associated with having them basically have you as a buyer, and what do you pose? What offering are you giving to a developer to work with Hodi and Eka? For the gentleman in the middle, please remind me your name.
Japhet.
Japhet?
Yes.
Are you trying to create a technology company, a development company, or a housing development company? Is your focus on the material deployment, like building a prefabricated system to deploy this material, or in enabling the entire delivery of housing in that material? So that's my curiosity. And please remind me your name. David. And David, what is the cost for somebody to use your platform? Or how defensible is your IP when you're looking at this platform? And I think it's fantastic, it's super great. You're basically breaking down and making sure that people follow steps in order to get to the development to get done. So what is the cost to scale? Like how are you selling this to either buyers, users, investors, or is it something you're developing to open source out? And how defensible is this IP? Thank you.
Okay, just to answer your question briefly, as I said, our company was formulated to fill a gap which we saw in the market for demand of affordable and most available building material. But we also do consultancy as well for building of affordable housing in the country.
Okay. So I'll use it as an example. You're developing 100 units, selling them for 3.5 million. So we agree, before you break ground, we'll give you a forward purchase agreement, And part of the reason we're raising for a guarantee is so we can now guarantee you that you can go to a bank saying, I have 100% offtake for all my units, give me money, I build, at the end, we pay you. So throughout the development process, we're selling the acres. So it allows you to start your development without worrying about, constantly selling. And we hold you accountable that we will not give you the money until you deliver the units.
So you act as a bulk off-taker?
Yes.
No IP is completely protectable, and we're aware of that, but what we do know is that the amount of background research and development that's gone into this is going to be a significant barrier for quite a long time, and that the market that we're focusing on also is one that's not necessarily palatable to others. It might be a real compliment if we get huge chases at some stage, given the social enterprise nature of the operation. It will be scaled on a white label licensing basis, which essentially means an institution could purchase it for utilization in the internal environment, and we have 2 banks who are already interested in that. It can also be utilized as a professional office version where an architect or a planner would be the professional officer to take that process from start to finish, and that would be based on a smaller subscription basis. We're considering even the opportunity of a project-by-project payment fee, which is very reasonable, and in most cases at least halves the cost of the average low-income professional cadre of people that are doing it, and we add into that a level of pre-packaging project management, automated QS outcomes and costings, and various other services on top of it too.
So you're thinking more B2B rather than B2C, that person as well?
The B2C needs to be through a professional officer in terms of specifically Cape Town's bylaw, so that is critical, but it could be both, given the context within which it operates. We are specifically looking to ensure people get approved, acceptable, financeable accommodation. So we're looking for city approval and bank approval.
Thank you. My question is to Professor Japheth. I saw on the slides that you have conducted a research, and you found out that there were 19 different areas where you could find the type of clay soil that's required. And I was wondering whether you want to put the production facilities at various places, or are you going to have centralized that and distribute? And the other question is, I also saw roofing tiles, though they were on the pictures, but you didn't talk about them. I was wondering whether these are also planned to be in the production line, and if they have proven to be more economical compared to the galvanized sheets that we're used to in the Tanzanian construction industry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah, to start with the last one, yes, the tiles are to be in the production line as well, and as indicated on the slide there will be several types with different colors. So there will be, that will give a choice to the kind of tiles one would like to have. Our company is going to be located in Dodoma, and the production and manufacturing factory will be in Dodoma. But we did research and looked at the entire country to see if clay was available in all the different regions, and indeed it is available across the country. And it's not us being the first to see that clay is the most abundant and affordable building material available in Tanzania. This was actually, there was a research which was done from 1964, 65, and this led actually to the initial decision by the founding father of the nation, Mwalimu Nyerere, to decide, when he decided to shift the capital from Dar es Salaam to Dodoma. And he was provided this research after the researchers and the consultancy which was done then to look at all the possibilities of what kind of material would be affordable for use, not only for the building of the capital, but also for the majority of the people who are mostly in the informal sector. And as many can remember probably here who are Tanzanians, the mindset then and the idea of Mwalimu Nyerere was that the best thing which can happen to a new nation like Tanzania just after independence was to concentrate on what is available and what the strengths are for the people in the country. And that was agriculture first, and then housing. So in the elections, the symbols which were being used then for the candidates would be a hoe and a house.
Professor, I think we'll put you on a, what do you call it, a master class, okay, with a longer format. So that okay. You can right, cool. So we are at the feedback stage, and I'm going to give the mic. There we go. I'll give the mic to our two judges. We'll start with Pascaline. Pascaline, you also have a time frame, 5 minutes, to come back.
Okay.
Please don't let me use the bell on you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Fundo, and good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for attending the Sharkroom and listening to the different pitches, which were very good. I think in terms of feedback from me, is just to say that preparation is very important. You know, if you have to make a pitch to investors and you know that you've been given 5 minutes or whatever time and you are not able to make your pitch, that's really not good. And actually investors, what they are looking for, as investors will be looking for, really what is your project all about? What is the impact? Is there the market? Within that short period that you've been given, as well as the return on investment, sustainability and innovation, given the fact that that was the theme of this Sharkroom. So the painful thing is that some investors could not even make their ask. You know, they didn't do the ask, so which is very painful because by the time you finish your presentation, or we do not know what you want. So that was very painful for us to see. So I think just as a general feedback, preparation is key, especially the Sharkroom. You really have to move with speed and make sure that you, in those 5 minutes or whatever time that you've been given, you leave a lasting impression on the investors. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Pascaline. Board member, Mrs. Pascaline, is Debs. Do you want to give us your concise feedback?
Okay. Yeah. So we're speaking in general terms, right? Okay. All right. So if you're looking for debt, you should tell me how much equity you're putting in, and you should tell me how you're getting repaid, how I'm going to get repaid. A couple of the presentations, I was confused about what the project actually is. It started off in the beginning looking like one thing, but then as we went through the process, it looked like something else. And so that was challenging. The other issue is on tech. Tech projects, I think, especially if you're presenting to somebody like me in my age group, you might want to dumb that down some and make clear in our particular situation what the connection is between the housing sector. I also saw a couple of things that were presented as loan opportunities, but they looked to me more like they were too early stage for debt and really would be VC or more suitable for grant funding. And on government-related deals, if you're doing something in the context of a government program, I want to know, are you partnering with them? Are they your off-taker? Or are you just taking advantage of a policy that exists that creates a market? And so that, in a couple of cases, also wasn't very clear.
Thank you very much, Deb. Thank you very much, Pascaline. I think I can't stress enough this idea of being prepared. Investment committees run through quite a few investment proposals. If you have got the opportunity to sit in front of an investment committee, you want to be concise, clear, and straight to the point. And then I guess to Deb's point, just around being clear on what the thing is and then keeping the theme through so that you don't lose folks. And then being, I think it was during the REIT conversation where, you know, REITs are presenting to people who are not quite affair with what they're talking about. It's going to be challenging, and that's just around making sure that you can you make it as simple as possible. And then clarity of your ask. I think that's very important. You have to clarify what it is that you're looking for, but what's in it for me? As an investor, I want a return, and I want to know when I'm going to get my return. So I think those are very, very good and valuable feedback notes. Thank you. We will summarize the feedback notes from the judges, and we will put them down. I'm committing the team. I'm looking to them to give me an affirmative. Is there an affirmative? Yes or no? Yes, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, now to the fun part. And to give David, do you want to give me your laptop there and the thing there? Is it the chair who's going to give the? Where's our chair? Oh, thank you. This is as chilled as I've seen the chair. Chair, where's your tie, chair? All right. All right. Do you want to give me that investment committee final feedback, please? Apologies, folks. My trusted assistant here is okay. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. So, I'm just gonna do quick maths here. Okay. The third contestant or investee that came number 3 is Affordable Key to Real Estate. Folks, your hands should not reflect the position of the consultant, please. Be more enthusiastic, please. And then our second is ATP Studios Infrastructure Development Proposal, which is Atish. And if the chair can please come up to present the winner of the Sharkroom 2024 in Zanzibar. Please, Chair, you can come and announce. I can't speak on your behalf, Chair.
And the winner is, drum rolls please, Developable.
Developable. All right, folks, that brings us to to the end of the Sharkroom. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for being real sports and staying through an extra 30 minutes. Kersia, do you want to come and close? Thank you, brother.
Brilliant. Congratulations, everybody.
7 bar. What are you going to do with 7 bar?
Okay. So this has been a very long day. Thank you so much for your participation and your patience, and then your engagement in the questions and the conversations that we've all had. Really, really interesting session. Thank you so much to our judges for engaging and interrogating the presentations in the Sharkroom, and congratulations to all of the fish swimming with the sharks. We have come to the end of our 2-day conference where we sit in a room.